Chapter 3. What's the Difference? When Violet woke up the next morning, an idea hit her. She knew exactly how the Mouse Scouts could make a difference. She was pretty sure everyone was going to love it. Well, everyone except for Tiger Lily. But she'd come around eventually. Violet put on her Mouse Scout uniform, grabbed a sunflower seed muffin, and ran out the door. Tiger Lily was walking up the sidewalk, dragging a plastic cup lid piled high with crumbled candy wrappers and bent coffee stirs. "What are you doing, Tiger Lily?" Violet asked. "I found these things for my collection," said Tiger Lily. "You never know when you might find a use for something." Violet sniffed. "Maybe you should be thinking about making a difference instead of collecting trash." "I wish we were working on some other badge," said Tiger Lily. "I have no idea how to make a difference. Have you thought of anything?" Violet was dying to share her idea, but she knew better than to talk to Tiger Lily about it without the others around. "I have a few ideas," she said. "Nothing special." Tiger Lily had already lost interest. She had just spotted another bottle cap for her collection. When they got to the sandbox, the rest of the troop was already there. Hyacinth was holding a paper clip. "Scouts, I have an idea," Hyacinth announced. "We can make a difference by giving other mice makeovers so they'll be as beautiful as me. Well, almost as beautiful anyway. I'm going to start with Cricket." Hyacinth took her paper clip and began to wrap Cricket's tail around it. "Ouch," said Cricket. "Stop complaining," Hyacinth said. "Not everyone can have a naturally curly tail like me. Sometimes it hurts to be beautiful." But when Hyacinth pulled the paper clip away, Cricket's tail was as crooked as Petunia's. "That made a difference, all right," Tiger Lily laughed. Cricket gave her a look and went to work shaking the kinks out of her tail. "I don't think this is the kind of difference Miss Poppy meant," Petunia sniffed, trying to hide the fact that her feelings were a little hurt. She was very self-conscious about her own crooked tail, which was the result of a harrowing experience with a mousetrap. "We're supposed to be doing something that will make others feel happy. I know a few jokes. We could make a difference by making people laugh." "I hope you don't mean your jokes about Miss Poppy," snorted Hyacinth. "You can't tell those." "Oh," Petunia said. "I guess you're right. Back to the drawing board. Does anyone else have any great ideas?" Violet took a deep breath. It was now or never. "I think we should make baskets and fill them with flower petals, and then give them to mice who are sad or needy to brighten their day," she said breathlessly. She looked around. No one seemed as impressed as she had imagined they would be. Violet's nose began to twitch like it always did when she was nervous. "Ugh, not more baskets," groaned Tiger Lily. "Boring," said Petunia. "That's right," said Hyacinth. "Besides, we've already made baskets. Next idea?" Violet's tail drooped and she hung her head. She had been so sure that she had come up with a good idea. But now even she had to admit that making baskets wasn't much better than doing mouse makeovers or telling jokes. It wasn't going to change her community. It wasn't going to make a difference. Junebug looked up from her copy of the Mouse Scout Monthly. "If we really wanted to make a difference, we'd be more like the scouts featured in this magazine. We'd find a cure for cancer, or stop hunger, or clean up the environment." "How can we do any of those things?" Violet asked. "We're not grown-ups. We can't change the world. We might as well give up. We're only mice, after all." "Oh, no, we're not," said Tiger Lily. She agreed with Junebug. If they had to go to the trouble of making a difference, it might as well be a really good one. "We're Mouse Scouts. It's just like in the Acorn Scout song. We may be small, but we're going to be tall, remember? Oh, you know how it goes. Anyway, if we put our minds to it and work together, we can come up with something that will make a difference." Tiger Lily smiled nervously as everyone turned to her. Just because she believed they could make a difference didn't mean she had any idea what that difference could be. Suddenly, another plastic bag drifted across the sandbox and caught on Violet's acorn cap. "Yuck, not another one," she cried. "What is it with all the trash around here, anyway? Someone should be doing something about this." "That's it," said Tiger Lily. She knew exactly who should do something about it. Mouse Scout Handbook. Mice Who Made a Difference. Daisy and Hydrangea. The Mouse Scouts were established in 1953 by two mice named Daisy and Hydrangea. They formed an unlikely friendship after Hydrangea, a house mouse who had never been out of doors, was caught and released in a field far from home. When Daisy, an intrepid field mouse, found her, Hydrangea was cold and starving. Daisy nursed her back to health and taught her about wilderness survival, during which time Hydrangea developed a deep love for the natural world. These two visionary mice saw a need to instill a respect for the environment in young mice everywhere, and the hope that future generations of mice would be dedicated to preserving it. Rosemary, the creator of the original recipe for cheese crispets, was enjoying some cheese when she realized that she was late for a water safety lesson. She threw the cheese into her backpack, which was full of crumbs she had been collecting, and ran off to the bird bath in the park. There she spent several hours practicing floating, diving, and treading water, while her backpack sat in the hot sun. By the time her water safety lesson was done, the cheese in Rosemary's backpack had turned into a gooey, melted mess. Or had it? Rosemary was surprised to discover that when the melted cheese and crumbs cooled, they turned into a delicious, crispy treat. Rosemary toyed with the recipe until she came up with the Cheezo Delights, the popular Mouse Scout snack. Olive, the great peacemaker. Throughout the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the mice of Left Meadow were engaged in a conflict with squirrels and chipmunks over who could claim rights to the seeds spilled by careless birds at feeders. It took the courage of a strong leader and lifelong Mouse Scout, Olive, to broker a peace treaty. In 2003, after a series of meetings with the leaders of the Chipmunks and Squirrels nations, later referred to as the Seed Talks, an agreement was reached. It was decided that the first foot around the base of a bird feeder was for mice, the second foot in the perimeter for chipmunks, and the outer perimeter was for squirrels.